Still doing a. You are live. All right. We made the migration.
We did. We did. We here. Wait.
We here.
Oh, there you go.
What up, y'all?
Hey, y'all. So, yeah, this is our very first episode this way without using IG. This is different, but I'm excited.
Yeah. We gotta try something new because IG hating.
Yeah. So, I mean, as always,
You want
Brittany, you want to pop us off? Pause. You want to start us off?
absolutely. As always, thank you for coming to the 21 Titles Weekly Recap. Sunday at 7. We also know that today is the All-Star game. It is All-Star Weekend, so the festivities start or begin at 8 o'clock for tonight's session. We're gonna try to cover everything, around that so that y'all can get to going because we know y'all want to go see that. Well, everybody gonna go see that, right? But essentially, with 21 titles, I'm Wellness Brit, aka Brittany. Obviously, this is my lovely co-host every week,
Tay gets it done. What's up, y'all?
and together we make up 21 titles.
Tay
Um,
gets it.
right. Together we make up 21 titles. We're essentially fostering a new perspective for the next generation of student athletes. Um, Very big on personal and professional development for them, and we essentially want them to thrive and go further and further than we could have possibly imagined when we were collegiate student athletes. So we do these things just to keep our community in the know about all the things that surrounding the sports ecosystem and some things that are a little bit sports adjacent. So, we cover obviously women's sports first and foremost, being former collegiate athletes, and secondly, we move on into NIL since the kids now can get paid. You feel me? Um, then we try to go into tech because we love some blockchain and we love tech because we feel like tech kind of like moves with the world. And then last, we wrap up with some culture. So let's get into it.
Yeah, so I guess we could just get right into the NBA All-Star Weekend. I mean, it's still happening, as Brittany said, later this evening. But I think we could dive right into Sabrina and Steph. So I think that's something that everybody was looking forward to, kind of. I've seen mixed reviews regarding, them going head to head
Right.
last night for the 3-point contest. And so yeah, Steph came out with the win. He beat Sabrina last night. He racked up 29 points. Sabrina racked up 26. But the reason I wanted to bring it up is because Kenny Kenny the Jet Smith was wilding last night. Talking about Sabrina should have shot from
Right.
the 3-point line. Like the women's 3-point line. Why? I thought that was inappropriate.
He was being very inappropriate yesterday. I think he disappointed a lot of people yesterday,
Yeah, what like for what? I mean, we knew
for sure.
that Steph going against Sabrina was gonna bring some negativity here and there, but I don't think I thought about it coming from commentators.
Right. I think he surprised us all, Shante. yesterday. He
Yeah,
definitely surprised us all. So
I don't really have
she
much
should
else
have
to say
shot
about
from the
that.
right from the WNBA line.
Right, like, but for
Like
what? For
ignorant.
what? Yeah, for what? I did see a lot of people rooting for Sabrina last night. I saw, on Twitter, even Dawn Staley has something to say about it. I saw people hashtagging women's basketball versus everybody, and everybody meaning even commentators. We're gonna defend the sport. We're gonna defend the game, and I seen a lot of people doing that last night. So that was beautiful to see. But I mean, it's just unfortunate that you know these comments are still being made, even with all the progress that's being made for women's basketball. We still have
Right.
a long way to go. That's what this shows. We have a long way to go. Um, and while there's a lot of people that watch basketball, there's a lot of individuals that are just being introduced to women's basketball. Unfortunately, as crazy as that sounds, um, that's where we're at right now. So yeah, I mean, shouts to Sabrina. Um, And shouts to Steph. It was just entertaining to watch. She kept up. It was great competition.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of my favorite competitions out of the night, besides the actual 3 point contest, and also the Rising Star game that they had on Friday night. I enjoyed that as well. I like the format there that they had with that. It was kind of like how they do in TBT, the basketball tournament, with just the score ending, the scoring as the goal. So like they had two semifinals, four teams,
Hmm.
and then essentially the first two semifinal games you had to get to 40. 40 was the target point, and then the final game was 25. So it was good to see. It was good to see a lot of those rising stars. I learned a lot of new guys' names. Got introduced to a lot of different new rising players in the NBA. So it was exciting to watch. I enjoyed it.
So, um, I guess we could talk a little bit about the 3 point contest. If you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. So Damian Lillard essentially he won back to back 3 point contest. Now winning as a Milwaukee Buck. Last year he obviously won as a Portland Trailblazer. He just got traded this past year. He spent his first 11 years with the Portland Trailblazers. Now on the Milwaukee Bucks because he's trying to get a ring. You feel me? But he came out the victor yesterday. It was a pretty competitive 3 point shootout. A lot of the players in the first round they got 26. That essentially was the total points that Sabrina got when she played against Steph. So she was right on par with the the point score of the night, essentially. So you had a lot of good names in the 3 point contest. Trey Young, we seen Jalen Brunson, we seen um, what's the dude from I believe Utah, Laurie Markkinen. He's 7 foot, shooting threes. You had Carl Anthony Towns, who was also another previous 3 point shootout, uh, 3 point winner. I forget what year he won, but it's crazy to see 6'11" big men shooting threes, like for real, for real. But I really enjoyed yesterday's 3 point shooting contest. Thought it was extremely competitive, and shout out to Dame Time because he definitely hit the threes when he needed to. He needed them threes yesterday and hit them on time. Okay, Dame Time was good.
Not Dame Tom. That was funny, but no facts. Shouts to Dame. And then let's talk a little bit about the dunk contest really briefly. Mac McClung, man, like that boy jumps out the gym, and we saw it again
Um,
last night.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Mac McClung. Hey, they need to give him an opportunity in the league now. All right, like y'all been playing with that man. He's won the dunk contest 2 years in a row. Okay, bring him up. Bring him up. Give him
I
a
think
10-day
he's only been
contract or something.
no,
Okay,
that's a
pull him
fact.
up.
I think
Pull him up. All
come
right,
on.
but I I'm gonna just say Shantae, as of late, the dunk contest been really lackluster. Dunk contest been really lackluster. Um, it's really, I just sit there and watch because it's the last thing to watch. But not really excited about the dunk contest anymore. I think Mac McClung is exciting because he's a short guy doing dunks that a regular guy would be able to do. Um, and I think they robbed Jacob Topping yesterday. He did a really incredible dunk yesterday, and I think they didn't give him a great score for it, and I was kind of bewildered. But I think Jacob Topping deserves to go to the final round with Mac McClung, to be quite honest, instead of Jalen Brown, because Jalen Brown really did a bad job. Like I love you, Jalen Brown. Like I love everything you stand for, Black Wall Street. You doing all that. But yesterday you was embarrassing, brother. I don't know how you was trying to honor D Brown and doing this after you dunked the ball. Okay, nah, nah. That was not good. Okay,
Yo,
but
I'm done.
all right. That's all I got for you.
All right, well then that's the dunk contest. Glad to have covered that. But on another note, I think it's really important to highlight the HBCU Classic that happened this weekend. This is the third annual NBA HBCU Classic. I think I don't know if people was really tuned into it since it happened earlier in the day, like earlier in the afternoon. But this year, Winston-Salem State beat Virginia Union,
Mhm.
and they beat them 64-47. And again, this is the third annual HBCU Classic. And, they had individuals there, attendees there that also attended HBCUs. Of course, everyone knows Stephen A. Smith. He attended Winston-Salem State. He was in the building, and other individuals. And then previous student athletes and now professional players were there in attendance as well. Um, and again, I just think it's important to highlight and shouts to Rise HBCU, who's over there really doing the work and highlighting HBCUs and their space in this new sports economy. It's just really important to shine a light on HBCUs. I mean, it just is. And yeah, I love the fact that the NBA has implemented this event, and they mentioned that this event is the NBA's ongoing commitment to advancing educational, professional, and economic opportunities in partnership with HBCU institutions. So I'm looking forward to them advancing this event and making it a lot more bigger and spotlighting it in different ways and a lot more in the upcoming years. Again, this is just the third annual one, but I'm looking forward to seeing how they advance it. And again, to shine light on HBCUs. This is really important, especially because it is Black History Month. So I think that maybe they can start implementing something like, mixing the two together or tying it together in some form of fashion. That would be great to see.
Right. I really didn't know about this until you presented it to me. And told me that, I thought you were actually alluding to what we spoke about a few weeks back. If you didn't know, a few weeks back, in Invesco QQQ partnered with HBCUs and Michael B. Jordan to throw the Legacy Classic in Newark. I believe it's at the Prudential Center, I believe. Um, and that's another innovative, inaugural partnership that we're seeing. We're seeing HBUs getting put on the spotlight. So I'm very happy to see that the NBA has put the HBUs on the forefront to to shine because there's talent there as well. So shout out to the NBA for doing that this weekend, this All-Star weekend. But like Shantae said, we would probably love a little bit more visibility and marketing for that event, essentially, in the future.
Absolutely. I guess we can kind of go into WNBA news a little bit. So last night, Hennessy, they held IG live in celebration of them finally opening or revealing Hennessy Arena, which is something that's been in the works for a little bit, from what I understand. And they had a 2-on-2 showcase last night. They had Jewel Lloyd and Jackie Young versus Natasha Cloud and Enrique Ogunbowale. And when I tell you, it was highly anticipated, but I feel like, first of all, I didn't hear about it until I think Friday, maybe yesterday. Um, So I feel like they could have done a better job in marketing and promoting that event. That's number one. And then number two, Hennessy could have did a better job in just their production. We're watching it on IG Live. I don't know who was behind the camera
Hmm.
on the IG Live, but you know, people in the comments had to shout to turn the like to make it diagonal so that we could see the full court. I mean, I was trying to give them some grace and tell Brittany, like, this is the first iteration for Hennessy. Brittany wasn't hearing that at all. Brittany was like, come on, Hennessy. Y'all could have put some dollars. And I agree with her. I agree with you, Brittany. Like, Hennessy definitely could have put in some dollars behind production to really get this looking right. So we could have watched this in a much better fashion. But nonetheless, there was a lot of people tuned in. It seemed like there was over or damn near 500 people in the IG live. Again, I think they could have got a lot more people involved and tuning in if they just promoted this a lot better prior to last night. But
Right.
um, those women showed out last night during that showcase. You want to talk a little bit about it, Brittany?
Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome thing to see. Like, I remember during I forget what NBA All Star Weekend it was, but you remember the Shooting Stars competition when they had like a WNBA player, a NBA player, and
Yes.
then somebody else. I forget somebody else. I think they need to bring that back. Um,
Yes.
I think they need to bring that back. I just wanted to add that in there. But I really enjoyed yesterday seeing that the WNBA got a little bit of shine on the side during All Star Weekend. Because usually we see WNBA players like in the celebrity game. Like, you're not a celebrity, we're professional athletes. Like, I hate seeing that. For some reason, I hate seeing when they put the women in the celebrity game. Like, they're professional athletes, all right? Like, stop playing with their names.
Right.
But the game was very competitive yesterday. Drew Lloyd and Jackie Young, that was the Notre Dame connection right there. Drew Lloyd won the game on a crazy three that she hit. I don't know how she made that, but it was a really crazy shot. But like Shantae said, I had a few critiques of the the camera angles and just the way they presented the game. I think they could have just did a better job of being more thoughtful of the audience and how the audience would watch the actual game. Um, but shout out to Hennessy for adding a side event like that. You know, Drew Lloyd and Jackie Young went home with 20 bands. After that short dub, the game was to 15. They had a half a court, like the location, the venue that it was in. Everybody was pretty much like standing around. Like the venue looked kind of small, but things could be a little bit perceived a little different when you're using cameras. So
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the dimensions of what that looked like, but it just looked like they were playing underneath a balcony, essentially. Like it looked like a theater or something like that. They transformed into a basketball court. So, but
Mm-hmm.
nevertheless, also too, it was late yesterday, 11:30. That was late. Like I
11:30.
was putting my daughter to sleep, and I could stay up, um, but I still nevertheless just enjoy seeing that, seeing the WNBA.
Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, hopefully next go around, they'll make the necessary changes and stuff like that. And then I did see like I guess a 360 view of the arena, and it does appear to be just what you said. There is a balcony. There are chairs there. Um, and I believe that is the designated space for like, for tournaments or many, 2-on-2s and things of that nature. So I don't know. We'll just have to see how they utilize that space next go around, and how they utilize production and where they place them.
Right.
It'd be greatly appreciated for us. And but nonetheless, it was just, a treat to see them, go
Yes.
at it for a little bit last night. So shouts to them and shouts to Hennessy. We'll keep an eye out on y'all and see how y'all improve this for next go around.
Facts.
All right. So again, in WNBA news, just wanted to give a shout out to Asia Wilson becoming a New York Times bestseller. I know that is not an easy feat. Brittany, you being the author, you already know the vibes. You know it's not a joke, and you know it's not a game. Um, so
Yes.
Asia Wilson has done so much in her career, and to be able to add this to her list of accomplishments, she's goaded. I mean, she was goaded before this, but now she's OD goaded. Like
Facts.
this is outside of basketball. Like so yeah, she released her first book last week Thursday, titled Dear
Do
Black
y'all know
Girls.
how hard it
Go ahead.
is?
Go ahead, Britt.
Yeah, people don't know how hard it is to sell books. It's hard, okay? Instant New York Times bestseller basically is crazy. That's really a crazy accomplishment. Like I seen her press run. Like she been out here really doing the work. She been doing these press runs. You've been seeing her. I've been seeing the clips, the highlights. She been doing these press runs, doing these meet and greets with the young girls and stuff like that. So, she out here really pushing, and I can't wait till I get a chance to actually read the book. I believe she also has it as an audiobook option as well. Which I heard is an excellent, like, just you could just breeze through it, to be honest. So I'm very excited to read Asia Wilson's book. But shout out to Asia Wilson. That's another stream of revenue, y'all. Get that book in. Get the book. Get it down. Yeah.
That's a fact. Um, Shouts to Asia Wilson. So we're just gonna move on to Brittany Griner, as you know, and if you don't know, her jersey was retired at Baylor. That is a huge feat. First of all, a huge accomplishment. Um, she's very deserving of that. She had a top tier career at Baylor, and then obviously in the WNBA, and then just thinking back as to how life occurrences has been happening for her in the last year or two has been, a lot to say the least. And I think it's just beautiful to see her getting her flowers, which again, much deserved. I saw her, shedding a tear, really excited to see her jersey retired. It was just a beautiful thing to watch. And just wanted to highlight that because she too is goaded. She holds the Big 12 women's basketball record for most points scored with over 3,200 points. Uh, and field goals attempted and blocks and free throws made. So, again, much deserving. And just wanted to highlight that and give her her flowers. So, shouts to BG.
Uh-oh. Roxanne faded out. It's all right. She was talking about Brittany Griner. She definitely had a They retired her jersey today, lifted it to the rafters. So shout out to Brittany Griner. Um, and Baylor just had a monster game today. They turned the ball over today. So essentially, that's what happens when you turn the ball over. But like Shantae says, she holds the Big 12 record, women's basketball record for most points scored at 3,283. Field goals made at 787. Free throws attempted at 1054. And blocks at 748. So Brittany Griner is forever goaded. Um, did she win 2 chips at Baylor? I believe. I know she definitely won in 2012 season. So shout out to Brittany Griner. She deserves it. Yeah, I know over the past couple of years what has happened to that young lady and the stuff that she's had to experience. So for her to be able to come back and get shown some immense love is really incredible. And we just kind of wanted to highlight that. So BG, 42 is in the rafters. We salute you. And as we wait for Shantae to get back here, we'll move on to some stuff in college hoops that happened this week. Obviously, I know we talk a lot about Caitlin Clark. We went to see Caitlin Clark versus Rutgers this year in January, and it was great to finally watch her in person. But y'all know she just bypassed Kelsey Plum to take and break the NCAA history scoring record on the women's side. She scored 49 against Michigan earlier this week. So she needed 8 points to break the record, and then she did that in like the first 3 minutes of the game, to be honest. So essentially, she wound up scoring 49 points, which is really crazy. She's on pace to break Pete Maravich's record of 3,667 points. When he played at LSU from 1967 to 1970. Um,
Listen, we improvise.
Hey, Shantae.
We improvise. That's what we do.
We improvise. That's fine. That's what we
What's
do.
up, yo?
I
Where
just
you at?
moved on to I was talking about Caitlin Clark
Okay.
and her breaking Kelsey Plum's record. So I was just talking about Maravich, like she's on pace.
No, that's a fact. She's definitely on pace. Which would be crazy if she. Well, she is on pace to break it. I think she is gonna break it.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah, she's gonna break it. Um, he holds the record for 3667, 3,667 points. She's right there. I mean, um, I don't know how many games we are away from March Madness. I think less than 30 days now. I think this week made almost 30 days left till March Madness. So yeah, she's on pace to pass that.
Ooh, that would be a hell of an accomplishment. But
Brittany, are you talking?
story
Because I can't hear you. Okay, there you go.
winner was a bucket. Clark broke
I can't hear you,
the
Britt.
NCAA. She was a Wichita native. She scored 3,649 points when she played at Kansas from 1977 to 1981. And that was essentially before the NCAA ran women's college sports, though. So her record is in the AIAW record books instead of the NCAA record books. Okay, so she was a pioneer, essentially. Pioneer. Pioneer Lynette.
Absolutely,
Just wanted to shout out Lynette Woodard.
it's
That's
important.
greatness right there.
Absolutely, and not for nothing, it's Black History Month, so we gonna highlight we gonna highlight Black greatness. So shouts to Lynette, and yeah, just wanted to give her a shout out. That's amazing, and I don't think a lot of people knew that until this week. I know I was included in that. I had no clue of this history. So this is major and shouts to her.
Facts. Facts. Um, moving forward, this was something that was very eerie to me. Because Shantae hit me with a blind side this week. She was like, "Did you know there was a top top 16 teams were revealed?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And nevertheless, Shantae was correct. They did it. They released essentially like a teaser for from the committee, and the NCAA Division I committee tabbed South Carolina, Stanford, Ohio State, and Colorado as number 1 seeds in the first top 16 early reveal announced on Thursday evening.
Hmm.
I thought that was odd because I'm used to just waiting until Monday to see what's going down. Obviously, we get predictions from the top analysts like Holly Rowe and Rebecca Lobo and
Hmm.
those people. I guess Andrea Carter can fit in that line too. Malika Andrews, all of them, all the top tier analysts. Um, we usually get their predictions, but I never seen something where the committee actually releases what they think or teasing us to tell us what's going on. You know? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no. This is the first time they've ever done this. They also did this for the men's side. Actually, I think they revealed it, if not today, this weekend. But yeah, this is the first time the committee's actually releasing this information, which is interesting. But nonetheless, I heard and I read, some pushback or some thoughts on um, the number one seedings for each region. And it's important to say that the top 16 that they released were the 16 teams that would have made it in the Sweet 16 had the tournament already started on February 14th, February 15th. So they're looking at the current seeding, they're, looking at the current records. These are not like predictions. This is just them going based off what they see as of February 14th, February 15th. Um,
Right.
and so, yeah, people were talking about and asking what the toughest region was. I saw multiple different answers, but I think the Albany Regional 1 list is crazy, which would be South Carolina, UCLA, UConn, and Louisville. We watched Louisville play today. They're tough, right? They played against Virginia State. I mean, excuse me, Virginia Tech, and fell to them, but they're a tough team. Those four are tough. South Carolina, we know. I mean, we're going to talk about it a little
Right.
later, but Dawn Staley got her 43rd consecutive win today. Um, so it seems like they're not losing anytime soon. UCLA, I didn't see the ending of the UCLA game this evening against Oregon, but Lauren Betts is back, and they're getting back on the horse, so they're still a tough team. They're still a tough competitor. And then you got UConn, who, even after all the injuries, they're still fighting. That is a tough region to beat.
Yeah.
And then in Portland Regional 2, we have Stanford, we have Texas, we have Oregon State, and we have Indiana. Another crazy region. Stanford is going to be Stanford. Stanford is Stanford.
Right.
I don't got much else to say about them. Texas, um, they're still going hard even after Rory Harmon got injured and is out for the season. They're still rolling along, and they're still a very tough team. And then we got Oregon State, who I believe just beat UCLA on Friday at the buzzer. So, and then Indiana
Mm.
is Indiana.
All
So
right.
again, like I say, I like to say these top 16 teams are nothing to play with. I think even the teams that aren't listed in this reveal are tough competitors because every team this year is coming to play. I mean, at this point, I don't know who's really going to be in the Sweet 16 come Sweet 16 time. I don't think all of these 16 teams that the that the committee released the other day are gonna make it so far because there's so many dark horses for this year. There's really no telling who's gonna be filling in those seats in the next couple of weeks.
All right. I don't have nothing of value to add to that. You said it all.
Yeah, it's just these teams are tough, and I'm just excited to see if how right they are come the next few weeks. So, um, moving on again, we just touched on women's college hoops. There was a ton of basketball happening today. Um, these next few weeks are about to be crazy. I mean, conference play is right around the corner. For me, I'm looking forward to the Pac-12 conference play. I'm not gonna hold you. This is the last
Yeah.
year that the Pac-12 is going to be the Pac-12. Literally, there's not going to be a Pac-12 next year, and that sucks. And Brittany and I talk about this offline all the time, but that's really whack. That's weak, um, because these young women are competing. I think the Pac-12 is one of the toughest Power Five conferences there are. Like there is rather, and
Yeah.
within the next few weeks, um, these teams are going to be battling it out for positions. Um, and so we're going to see some craziness really soon. I think conference play for the Pac-12 begins, I want to say like March 6th or something like that. Um, the ACC is another crazy conference. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to conference play. Brittany, do you have anything to say about that?
Pac-12. I'm looking forward to seeing the Pac-12, ACC, obviously the Big Ten, because I want to see who's gonna, you know, reign supreme out of there. Rutgers is obviously at the bottom of the Big Ten, so I don't even think they'll make it to the conference tourney. Um, but we'll see. But conference tournament championships are coming, and it's gonna be really nice to see. Even like the SEC, that's gonna be a crazy um, conference tournament too. So I'm ready. I'm looking forward to watching some of that basketball because this is essentially we're in season what 3 now. We're gonna be in season 3, which is the conference tournament championships before they head to the big honcho NCAA March Madness tournament championship. So I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, it's an exciting time, and the season has been going by so freaking quickly. Um, I feel like we just started reporting on the season, and now it's we entering the later half of the season. So this is when it gets crazy. This is when it gets wild. So yeah, no, super excited to see what happens in the next few weeks. And again, shouts to South Carolina and Dawn for retrieving, or rather obtaining her 43rd straight off regular season SEC win. That is major. Um, super
That's
difficult,
crazy.
crazy. Um, she deserves all the flowers, seriously, for how she's been
Yeah, she
molding that
does.
team and molding every team that she's had since entering South Carolina. Um, so those 43 wins are
Yeah,
well deserved and well earned. Um, that's all I got. Like she deserves it. She earned
yeah.
it.
I feel like I feel like the thing that separates Dawn Staley from most coaches is just the player development. Like she pumps out players, and you got to realize she lost her entire starting 5 last year, and her team still has not lost. This year
Right,
they undefeated
right.
with a whole new starting 5. Like she develops the heck out of these players. Like you sit there and wait your turn, you gonna get your turn. Like
Right.
Ashlyn Watkins been waiting her turn, and now she's getting her turn. Camila
Mm-hmm.
Cardoso been waiting her turn, she's getting her turn. Yo, Raven Johnson, I still can't believe she's only a sophomore, yo. Like
Yeah.
the plays she be making,
Major
I be like,
things.
nah.
Yeah. You see the growth every year.
Yeah.
You see it from
Mhm.
last year. So
Yeah.
complete team. They
It's
deserve it.
scary. And
Shouts
I'm
to
gonna say
Dawn.
this too,
Yeah.
South Carolina's doing well. They playing well right now. Like Georgia was with them today. First 3
Yeah.
quarters, Georgia was with them. Fourth quarter, separation work.
Man,
Okay,
South
they
Carolina's a
just
second
couldn't
half
stay with them. But
team.
yeah, yeah,
They show up in
yeah.
the second half,
It's
man.
gonna be hard to beat South Carolina.
It is. You would think they'd
It's gonna
slow
be
down or
hard.
something come second half. No, they kick into another gear. in the second half. I don't know
Yes.
what Dawn be saying to them girls in the locker room, but they be standing on business every second half. They may be
Right.
down, but no, they're a different team come second half. They got a different gear. And I think that's what makes them a championship caliber team, right? Because they don't count themselves
Facts.
out. They don't count themselves out.
Yeah.
They just show up in the second half and do what they need to do. And that's scary. That is scary.
Fact.
Um,
Facts.
so yeah, South Carolina is one of the ones, man. Shouts to South Carolina. Shouts to Dawn. Um, so yeah, that's what I have for women's college hoops, or what we have. And so we're gonna move on to some new updates in regards to some new programs and events that they're releasing for college women's basketball this upcoming year. So they're, and when I say they're, I'm talking about the NCAA. I guess is partnering with Fox, and they are scheduled to
Mm-hmm.
release a women's champions classic that will be happening at the Barclay Center this December, 2024, and it will be a tournament, and there'll be four college basketball marquee programs, which will include UConn, Tennessee, Iowa, and Louisville. And that again is scheduled for this December, specifically December 7th. Um, and I love the in season. Well, it won't be in season, but like I love the ongoing play even after the season ends for these young women. Um, it will keep the spectate just people that love women's basketball, um, still excited about women's college basketball, and I hope that that beautifully rolls into just WNBA play. Brittany and I talk about how important it is to like constantly promote and market women's basketball, even during the off seasons of college and then the off seasons of professional play. And I think that we're seeing that, and I think we're going to start seeing that a lot more often to keep the viewers, engaged and supportive even in the off season. So I love this. I hope that we can make it to see this in person in Brooklyn. But this is great, and I'm looking forward to it.
Look, shout out to the new invitationals that are popping up. Like, we're just seeing that across the board. Like, we seen the Jordan Jumpman Invitational in Charlotte, North Carolina this year. They had UNC playing. I forget who, but just like in tournament invitationals, I love seeing those because
Yeah.
you always got prizes and you always got nice stuff when you went to those tournaments. So I know the gifts crazy. Now I want y'all to tell me what y'all be getting. Like obviously, I
Right.
know y'all getting money. Y'all getting per diem, stipend, something. But what's the gifts looking like now? I want to know what the gifts looking like.
Right. That would be dope to find out. Hopefully, we can have a college student athlete come tell us a little something, something soon. That'll be fire. Um, but let's roll into
Facts.
NIL news. So, name, image, and likeness, like Brittany said at the top of our live, student athletes are now able to monetize their name, image, and likeness and essentially get endorsement deals to market and promote brands. Um,
Right.
and so, yeah, we never thought we get here in this sports ecosystem, but we are here. So we think it's important to highlight these stories, not even just stories, but the news of these student athletes getting to the bag, basically. And there's a company by the name of Zenix or Zynex. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Um, they are um, a NIL marketing app that allows student athletes. They work directly with HBCUs, and again, this is really timely because it is Black History Month, well, every day is Black History Month, if I'm being honest. Even outside of February, but nonetheless, this is really important because it is Black History Month, and Zynex is partnering with HBCUs and providing a platform for HBCU student athletes to start their own podcast. This is something that Brittany and I talk about often, and what that is having student athletes and just sports adjacent individuals tell their stories. It's important that we tell our stories, and this platform by the name of Zynex is providing this opportunity to student athletes. And one of the podcasts that they've created is called Historically Black Culture, and it aims to provide a unique platform for HBCU student athletes to share their stories, experiences, and cultural perspectives. Again, this is super important and key. Um, and they are going to the podcast is going to be a part of like a studio podcast network, which again will allow a ton of student athletes to opt in and begin their own podcast. In addition to that, Zynex will be helping these student athletes in creating their own logos, custom designs, and cover art for their podcast.
Mm.
Um, and the Historically Black Culture podcast series also features a custom apparel line with a 50-50 revenue share between the selected athlete hosts and then Zynex, which is dope. Um, and then they're also going to be assisting these student athletes in setting up their own e-commerce websites. Again, they're setting them up to essentially become content creators, um, while being able like providing them with a space to tell their stories and share their stories, which is really important. And I love this, and I think it's really important to highlight. So shouts to Zynex, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, I apologize. But this is a great again for HBCU athletes. We were just talking about the HBCU Classic yesterday, and just wanted to give a shout out to Rise HBCU again for really being having the foresight to really push HBCUs, and the importance of HBCUs in the NIL space very early. Shouts to Angelica. She's one of the first individuals I think Brittany and I saw really pushing for HBCUs to have a space in the NIL ecosystem. And I'm just
Absolutely.
happy to see that many other companies are joining her on this journey to really push, you know, these black and brown student athletes in the forefront of the conversation when it comes to NIL opportunities. So this is amazing. And I hope that more brands and companies start doing this more often.
You didn't even talk about the cookout that they gonna get.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, which is important. So, in addition to the opportunity, the school that the host is selected from, because they're going to choose a host for the historically Black culture podcast, will be able to earn their entire student athlete community the opportunity to have a cookout this spring, hosted
Come
by Zynex.
on.
And yes, I
Yeah.
mean that is a play on things because you'd be like, oh, such and such is, you invited to the cookout. So I think it's cool how they having a cookout. Yeah, they're having a cookout. And I
Facts.
completely forgot about that. So thank you, Brittany. But yeah, no, I love it. And again, it's really fostering community, which is what this is all about, right? Building a brand, building community. Um, so this is right on par with everything. So shouts to
Absolutely.
Zynex.
Shout outs to Zynex. Just want to say, student athletes, if you didn't know, you're also content creators. Like, if you did not know, you now know. You know now, okay?
Right.
You are content creators, and people want to see what you're doing. because people love to dive into the lives of athletes, especially athletes that are marketable, like,
Mm-hmm.
and are personable and who allow us to get inside access into their lives. One thing that I seen yesterday while I was watching EYL that made me think like, yo, because Troy was talking about the Vision Pro glasses, right? Like he was trying them out and showing them to us. But then he was also talking about how these glasses are going to allow us to get firsthand access into like artists. Like
Mm.
there's there's an app on there called Rehearsal Room, and you get
Okay.
live access into Alicia Keys' rehearsal when she's in the studio, essentially. Like you're literally there. Like just imagine you having the glasses on and you have a first-hand seat into the studio while she's making up a new song.
That's fire. That's fire.
Like this is essentially what he was talking about on EYL the other day. Like they're gonna be creating experiences like this, and this just goes in par with like Zynex and the content creation,
Absolutely.
podcasting. This is all in that ecosystem, y'all. If you can start now and build your case, once you stop being an athlete, people will still revere and admire you. Like you
Mm-hmm.
still got a audience and a community to vibe with. So I love what they're doing here.
No, that's first of all, I didn't know about the Vision Pros and that it does that. That's really crazy.
Yeah.
And then yeah, just everything you just said with Zynex and student athletes and being content creators. This is the time. So this is the perfect time.
Facts.
Uh, so yeah, shouts to that. That's fire. Okay. Um, so let's move on to Houston. Houston men's basketball team. First of all, Houston's men's basketball team. Really, the program has been doing a really good job securing NIL opportunities for their student athletes. Particularly their collective, the Lincoln Cougs. We've talked about them before, but they're nothing to play with. Whoever's in that collective, y'all about your bag because they they just collected a multi-million-dollar bag for these young men. And so, like I just mentioned, the Lincoln Cougs, they just brokered a mid 6-figure deal with Loot 8 on
Hmm.
Friday. And the Houston team will begin working with this company called Loot 8, which is a social media technology company, which describes itself as a creative control channel that targets athletes, artists, creators, and brands to connect with their communities and fans. Again, in the NIL space, community is super important. And building your community is super important, and that's what they'll be doing over at Loop 8. And the vice president of the vice president of sales at the Link U, who manages Lincoln Cougs, said that on behalf of the Link U, we are thrilled to announce this innovative partnership between the University of Houston basketball team and Loot 8 slash Perpetual Sports. And Loot 8 will be earning revenue, and they'll be taking 10% on all transactions that happen. And what I wanted to highlight is that I guess this also provides Houston student athletes with the ability to create digital collectibles. And we haven't heard the term digital collectibles in some time. If you don't know what a digital collectible is, we'll describe it, but I also want y'all to go to our 21 Titles Instagram page to kind of see what could be a digital collectible if we wanted it to be. And shouts to Apollonia and shouts to um, just her company and who she's partnered with, because they've allowed us to create a mock-up of a sweater that we could
Right.
sell in real time, but you're able to view the sweater digitally. Um, and so check that out on our page to get an idea of what the Houston basketball team could potentially do. But um, shouts to Houston again and their collective for really just doing the work and getting the school, or rather these student athletes, the bag. They've been on it since last year, really the year before that. So I don't think Houston gets spoken about enough. I mean, we always hear about LSU being an
Right.
NIL powerhouse, but Houston is also an NIL powerhouse.
For sure. I mean, Houston is also good. Like the men's team is good. I feel like the women's team is alright.
Yeah,
Like
right.
they on the up and up. But shout out to the collectives that understand how immense this opportunity is
Yeah,
and how powerful this opportunity is and how impactful this opportunity is. Like this is really giving you a chance to just kind of like tap into the local community essentially or local businesses and do all of that stuff. So um, with these NIL collectives essentially. Like you said, when we was talking about HBCUs, like Angelica was and Rise HBCUs, the first collective we really seen catering to the student athletes at HBCUs essentially and getting them
mm-hmm.
and educating them about the opportunity and what this actually is and what it can do for them, you know?
Yeah,
People really don't understand like if you get an NIL deal as a collegiate athlete, like if you turn pro, that NIL deal essentially rolls over and can turn into an endorsement deal. Essentially, like that's what it is, you know. So understand the game and understand the ecosystem, and then figure out how you can benefit from it.
right.
So shout out to the Lincoln Cougs for being a collective that's bowdy bowdy.
They've been about it since this became a thing. So yeah, shouts to Houston. Um, and then also I want to give a shout out to Adidas. They have been at the forefront of this NIL race too. I think that they are, if not number one ranked, but they've been not in the number one spot, but they've invested a ton in not only collegiate student athletes in the NIL space, but also high school. And
Mm,
so they're continuing their journey in the NIL world by um, making deals with marketing deals with the top four recruits in the country as far as basketball is concerned. They've partnered with Ian Jackson, shouts to New York, who who is a North Carolina guard signee, and then also Carter Knox, who is a four-star small forward, Mikael Brown Jr., who's again a four-star point guard, but he is a junior, and then we have a sophomore four-star shooting guard, Adam Umadoch. Hopefully, I pronounced his name correctly. I apologize if I did not. Um, but they've partnered with those four because they are in direct partnership. And when I say they, I'm talking about Adidas. They're in direct partnership with Overtime Elite. Shouts to Marissa Flag over on the Overtime Elite team over there. Um, but yeah, they actually Adidas is actually the exclusive apparel and footwear sponsor of OTE. So this deal probably came with this was probably super easy to facilitate. Um, but nonetheless, this is a new marketing um, play happening, and they picked up these four gentlemen to kind of push the brand. And we're looking forward to seeing how they do that. We don't know exactly, the marketing and promotion they'll have to do um,
Right.
with this collaboration, but we're excited to see how it unfolds. So, shouts to those four young men, and then again, shouts to Adidas for essentially leading the charge, or being one of the pioneers in this NIL space to really push the envelope with these young kids.
Yo, Adidas always been at the forefront of just high school basketball, yo. Like just
Hmm.
remembering the ABCD days at Fairleigh Dickinson with, the Ravens and Gary D and all of them. Like
Hmm.
Adidas been Adidas no, Adidas got their ears to the streets
They
always,
do.
okay?
Yes.
But that's what makes them one of the best brands in the world, essentially, because they stay close to what is hip and what is going on in the culture, essentially. So shout out to Ian Jackson. That's the Bronx, man. Like, he going to North Carolina, repping for the Bronx. That's really an amazing thing. Um, young man, please be smart with your money. That's all I got to say. I know the jewels are enticing, but just know, just put some stuff away for a rainy day. That's my advice.
Right. And I think OTE. I mean, shouts to OTE for also being like a pioneer in the space in the NIL space before NIL became a
Right,
legal thing.
right,
OTE was really at the forefront of just making sure that these student athletes were provided an opportunity to choose what they wanted to do in their future, and then also provide them with a means to take care of themselves and their family. But on top of that, what I do appreciate about Overtime Elite is that they push for financial education, and that is something that those student athletes under the OTE umbrella are being and have been exposed to. And I hope that, to your point, that that information has been sticking and they're actually utilizing it and executing from what they're learning under the OTE umbrella. So
yes,
again, shouts to OTE, and yeah, piggybacking off of Brittany, I hope that y'all are, doing what y'all need to do and really implementing what has been told to you and taught to you. So yeah. And then last on the NIL list, we have Malaysia Wiley. She landed her dream endorsement with Mr. Seafood, which is dope. I also, even though this doesn't deserve any highlight, but somebody on Twitter was talking about bench players getting deals in college is crazy. Newsflash, like NIL presents opportunities for all student athletes to
right,
get brand deals.
right,
That's the beautiful thing about NIL. You first of all, you don't have to be a star to get an NIL deal.
right,
You don't have to be a, a starter. You don't have to be a top 10 player. You don't have to be none of that. This presents every student athlete with the opportunity to be themselves. First of all, to learn who they are, right? Which is important during that time when you're in college. Think about it. You start college when you're 17, 18 years old. You leave when you're 21. You're still figuring yourself out. And in between those 4 years, they're expecting you to figure out who you are, what you want to major in, what you want your life to look like by the age of 22, 23, which is crazy. But I would go so far as to say NIL really allows these young student athletes to be their truest selves. And I don't think that that was always afforded to student athletes.
right,
Um, So because they get the opportunity to dive into who they are and what they like, they're able to then monetize off of like their gifts and their talents and their interests outside of their sport that they play.
Right.
which is unheard of
Correct.
because at one point it was you eat, sleep, do your business according to whatever sport you play. Now it's like, well, what are you interested? Like people care about, well, what are you good? What else are you good at? What
Right.
else do you like? I mean, we talking about Kitley over a year ago and how she loves to cook. Who would have known that?
Right.
Who would have known that? Who would have thought that? Who would have
Right.
cared? That's a better question. Who would have
Right.
cared about that? We only care about what you produce on the floor. But these brands care because guess what? There's a ton of brands in so many different industries. It's important that they know what these student athletes like and what they don't like. So, to that man who said that on Twitter, you're hella ignorant and you don't know any better. And this is dope. Shouts to Malaysia. Going back to what's important. Shouts to Malaysia for Wiley for obtaining this opportunity. But yeah, if you don't know, the NIL presents opportunities for every student athlete, regardless of what position you play or how many minutes you play.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing about the sports ecosystem right now.
Beautiful.
Not singing. So I just wanted to get that off. So that's all we have for NIL news. And I didn't realize we was on here for so long, but we're gonna, we trying to get y'all out of here. Out of here.
Yeah, it's 8:13, but y'all ain't really watching the All-Star game, so we gonna be here for another 10, 15 minutes, and then y'all can get to it.
There you go. So we're gonna go to tech news. Tech news. ChatGPT has been, causing beautiful things to happen within the last year or two. There's been a lot of drama as well in regards to who's working there and whatnot. But now, ChatGPT now has Sora, that's a text to video generator. Brittany, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sora. I seen this tool and I was just like, this is gonna change the game. Um, Sora is OpenAI's new text to video generator. The tool, which the San Francisco company unveiled Thursday, uses generative AI to instantly create short videos based on written commands. So, there's something called Mid Journey, and essentially you use prompts to do to make pictures,
Yeah,
and this is to make videos now. So like you can create whole scenes just using a simple written prompt on something. Like this week we're gonna show it in our stories. But I seen something where it was newscasters talking about this, and the newscaster gave an example prompt.
hmm
He read the prompt and then showed you what the prompt produced. Shantae, I thought it was like a Disney Pixar, something that was animated like that.
that's so crazy
Like
and
I was,
dangerous.
yes.
Hello, newsflash! Like we're about to enter, we're about to enter election season.
Yo,
At this point, you better question everything you see. You have to, even if it wasn't election season. Like we're just in this space where you have to question everything you see,
right.
everything you read.
Yeah.
Um,
The AI is getting real deceptive and tricky. Like from the deep fakes, you remember deep fakes? That's the first thing that kind of came out. We was like, deep
mhm,
fakes? What's that?
mhm.
And it's just becoming more and more refined and sophisticated now. So like that, yo, this is scary. Sora is scary, okay?
And people are gonna lose. I mean, I'm not wishing this on anybody, but the graphic designers, this makes things more, interesting too, as far as like job security. If
Right.
Sora is able to produce this in seconds, things like this take a long time to create in real life with human beings. Um, I hope that this doesn't take away jobs, but we'll keep an eye on that because I'm thinking about graphic designers and other individuals that hold positions that this could affect.
Animators.
Yeah, yeah. So
I
I don't
seen,
know,
I was like, a text to video generator? That's really insane. Like,
and it's not
I'm
perfect yet.
sure,
They're still working through
right.
the kinks, but
Hmm.
hmm
But still, nah, the example I seen, I was like, nah. Cause I seen it on Twitter. I seen somebody say, yo, once OpenAI drops Sora, I'm gonna be able to make movies and do all this other stuff way more, like way faster than I've ever been able to. And I was interested. I'm like, what is Sora? Like, what is he talking about? And then as soon as it, and then seriously, and then I see a post about it. Open
yeah.
AI. I'm like, nah, this is crazy. This is crazy. So we would like your thoughts. Obviously, we always here to be devil's advocates. What are the
hmm
pros and cons? Do y'all think that will be obviously ignited by this new tool? Um, I'm interested to see. Interested to hear your thoughts.
Me too. But keep an eye out on what's happening. Question everything else. Moving on to culture news, which is, I think, the last thing on our list. And here we usually talk about film, fashion, food, business, anything culture related, music. And so we just wanted to give a shout to Jason Tatum, because he's partnering with SoFi to establish a $1 million fund that's going to help individuals become homeowners, which is,
Fire.
yeah, like I don't know what else to say other than what Brittany just said. Um, so like I just said, SoFi is going to be partnering with Jason Tatum, and they're going to be working on essentially improving the financial wellness of families, and the investment's going to go towards grants that will provide a down payment to home buyers, in Tatum's hometown of St. Louis. Like, first of all, down payments are expensive.
Yes.
Down payments are expensive on homes. I mean, I don't know what the market rate is, the market rate is right now, but at one point it was like 10% of the overall amount of the actual home. Ten
Yeah.
percent is could be a lot depending on how much that house is
Correct.
valued at, right? Or is
Yeah.
being sold at. So that's number one. For them to assist with that, number one is major, right? Um, And so Tatum, he was raised by his mother, Brandy Cole Barnes, and the partnership is a reminder of the resources that would have been impactful during his upbringing because his mother didn't have it like that either. So this hits home for him, and I love
Right.
that he's doing this in his hometown.
Right.
Um, he actually made a deal with his mother that he would not be living off his millions in earnings as a Celtics player. First of
Right.
all, like, which I didn't even know about that. Um,
Yes.
this is that piece, like I was like, oh, okay, like this is different.
Mm-hmm.
His mindset is different. So he said instead he was funding his lifestyle essentially from his endorsement deals with the different companies he works with, the Jordan brand, Subway, and Gatorade. And he's saving the money that he's earning while playing on the Celtics to put himself in a better position and then those around him in a better position. So
Correct.
that goes to show me that he has his head on straight. Um, and his thought process is super clear. And I love this. And SoFi said that they're, proud to partner with the NBA to cement their brand as a trusted household name through the league's vast reach. And as the next generation of banking, they believe that they can help millions of NBA fans worldwide or nationwide achieve their financial goals and get their money right. So this is a beautiful thing. Um, I don't know what else to say about it. Just trying to close the financial gap or the wealth gap. I mean,
Yeah, this is major. Just shout out to Jason Tatum. Brother, you looked phenomenal yesterday with the Houndstooth trench coat on.
come on.
Okay, y'all seen that coat? Yeah, everybody seen it because he was on the floor trying to throw the ball to Jalen. All right.
And shout out to
Um.
Jalen Brown.
Right. But this is phenomenal. It's always a great thing when you can go back to your community and impact and just give a greater perspective on some stuff. So I did know that his mom made that that promise or that whatever agreement they have. I was abreast of him using his endorsement money to live off of and putting his salary to the side and using that to also invest
I love
um,
that.
is his mom's doing. And he
Yeah,
always credits his mom with being, forward thinking and progressive and always having his head on straight. So shout out to moms for keeping him level headed and grounded and just giving him the sauce. Like
yeah,
she was 19 when she had him.
yeah.
That's young, man. Being a teenage mother, that's tough.
Mhm.
Tough. And for your son to turn out into what he turned out into, and for him to be impacting and doing this work is even 1,000 kudos to his mother. Okay?
Yeah,
So shout out to Miss Brandy Cole Barnes. Okay? She
yeah.
the
So
real
sad.
MVP.
No, she is. She is, and she's seeing the fruit of her labor right now. So I know as a
Right.
parent, she's super proud, and she should be. And shouts to
Correct.
Jason for just holding it down for your people. That is fire. And then lastly, I do want to say that I had the opportunity to go to the Giants exhibition in Brooklyn this weekend at the Brooklyn Museum. The Giants exhibition is the Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys exhibit that opens February 10th, and I think is open until June of 2024. And I just want to say that it was so fire. Um,
Hey.
yeah, like it was super fire. Um, you know, these pieces are pieces from their home. Like they have an art collection at home. It's called the Dean Collection, the Dean's Collection. Um, but if
Mm.
you are in Brooklyn, even if or in New York, or even if you're not in New York, I implore you to come and check it out. The pieces are beautiful. That was my first time being in front of a one of like a Basquiat piece in real time. It hit a little
Fire.
different. Yeah,
Hey.
super fire. All of their art is from black artists. All of the art was created by black artists. That's something that the deans are really, really into pushing. They're big on black art and pushing and supporting black creatives. And the art that was on display was breathtaking. The stories behind them, breathtaking. And this was just it just hit different
Mm.
to see it during Black History Month. Again, I'm well aware of the fact that Black History is every day, but yeah, for Black History Month, this was right on time for it to be available for people to come and check it out. And we're just super, super talented, man. Like it's the pieces were super vibrant, and again, you could feel the emotions in a lot of these pieces. So again, I implore you to check it out,
Mm.
whether you're in New York or not. I also want to give a shout out to all the black people that I saw coming in there dressed down to the nines. That is a beautiful thing to see. I saw men and women pulling up in furs and heels, suited and booted to see this exhibit. I thought that was fire.
Hey,
Yeah, I thought that was fire. And so it just shows that we have a lot of pride in coming and checking this out. So
thanks.
go check it out. It's open for several months. It's not expensive. I think it was maybe like $20 to get in there.
Okay.
It's not
You know what?
expensive.
I actually might do this for my birthday. Okay,
I
Shantae,
implore you.
you inspired me, so
I'm
this might
glad.
be the birthday trek along.
You
Okay,
should. You should. It was really
so
dope. I love it. Shouts to the Brooklyn Museum. It's always beautiful in there. They always have beautiful exhibits in there. Um,
I,
check it out. So that's all I got as far as the art is concerned or culture is concerned.
all
So
right. I
yeah.
mean, I think that's the end of our show.
Yeah, this is the first YouTube live. We have some technical difficulties, but we made it through. And I'm glad that y'all was able
Thanks.
to rock with us throughout this journey. We only gonna get better. We will be back um next Sunday. So tap in with us, tap in and follow us on IG, on Twitter. Uh what else? Follow the 9450, please. Like follow the 9450
Yeah, that's a fact. No,
on
first and foremost, I'm s- I'm seeing all these comments right now. Shout out to Kenneth.
Oh,
Shout
I
out to
didn't even
Danny.
see.
Shout out to my pops. I'm seeing all these comments right now.
I gotta
They
join the
was
chat.
in here.
I didn't know. I didn't even
Y'all
see
was in
it.
here showing us love. I appreciate y'all.
I didn't even see it.
I
Um,
love it. My bad,
I love
y'all.
it. Thank you. I mean, again, we're it's a process, and we're just glad that y'all in here supporting us. It makes us really happy. Like these are genuine smiles and like genuine emotions that y'all are tapping in with us. So I didn't even see that, Brittany.
Right. I know. I'm over here because I had it in the widescreen view,
Yeah,
so I can't see the comments. And then I come back to the comments, and I'm like, look at all these comments. Thank y'all, man.
I didn't even see all. I can't even see all the comments. I only see
I
two,
appreciate
three,
y'all.
but I appreciate it, and this is beautiful. So yeah, we'll be back next week. Follow the
Really
9450.
is.
We
I
got things
appreciate
cooking up over at the 9450. Um, the family at 9450 is really putting in a lot of work. Tap in, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on all podcast platforms. Follow them on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and follow us because we got some things cooking up on the media side. It's coming. It's coming. So
Yes.
stay tuned. And yeah, I think that's it for today.
That's it. We love y'all. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. And peace. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace, y'all. Peace.